Trav9689 had some questions about the Bobcat 825. I will answer those questions. Actually, and give you a little more advice. There's a fuel filter here and a fuel filter down there. Clean both of, or this one I think you cleaned and this one you replace. Do that, but make sure you do them right, like you fill the filters before you put them on, or it will airlock the system. Here in Wisconsin we have cold weather, so we need the intake or the coolant heater, which I made a fitting that goes in the bottom radiator hose through the circulating heater and then back into the top of the head. There's a plug right here. New alternator. That's your fuel. That right there is your hydro oil, and if you look at mine, it will be nice and clean and not watery. These Bobcat 825s had a problem with water in the oil. See, there's no water in there. It's a little dark, but there's no water. And I will show you how the water gets in there, and I'll show you if you have slow hydraulics what filters you need to replace. Pretty sure there's 3 filters on here, but I'm not 100% sure. One of the hydro filters is right there. Alright, right there. You gotta lift the cab to get to it. You can see it right there. There's the cab nut, it's right there. And the other one is right there. You gotta get to that one. You can see the number is the 1759 Napa. And then the third filter, believe it or not, they make it really hard to get to. Inside the Bobcat, you have your pedals. Mine have been broken, I had to re-weld them, but see these bolts here? This is a panel right here. You have to take this panel out. You gotta take your pedals out. Take this panel out. You can see there's 1, 2, all the bolts that go around. See the panel. You're gonna have to make new gaskets. We used rubbery stuff. And this plastic, or this fiberglass tank, is where your water's gonna be coming from. Here and here. We used swimming pool liner gaskets that were rubber and then silicone. Here's where your water will be getting in. Your tank, where the fiberglass goes down and goes like that, it will crack along the edge, like down in here, because the tank and then the wall goes down and goes like that with the holes in it for the bolts. That's where your water will get in. And once you get water in there, it plugs up all 3 filters. And once that happens, your hydraulics will be very slow, it'll drive slow, and it's really bad for the pumps. So you're going to have to fix this. You're going to have to pull this plate right here. There'll be a filter right in there. There should be a magnet here and a magnet here, I think, a round magnet in there. You're going to want to clean those off. That filter there and that filter there will need to be replaced. But then what you're going to do to fix this is we took angle iron and we used this to push down the fiberglass, make it smooth. And then in between the tank and the angle iron is silicone. Don't get any silicone in the tank because that will wreck the hydraulics. But you got to get a lot of silicone in there because our tank was cracked about right around here, right around here. There was a crack there and some cracks around here. And that's why the hydraulics were slow. See, the angle iron goes all the way up, and then there's angle iron in the back too. So what you're going to do is we just took the cab right off. There's a bolt here and a bolt here, and then the 2 nuts in the back. We just took the cab right off the whole machine and drove it in the garage. So what you're going to do is take these pedals out, take that panel off, make sure you clean all the mud out so no mud falls inside. And then you're going to replace the filter, clean everything up in there, and then make new gaskets. Use rubber, use a rubber to make the gaskets, but a rubber that can handle getting oiled on so it doesn't disintegrate when oil gets on it. Put the cover back on, and then you're going to want to do something like what I did here with the angle iron, so it keeps because the fiberglass gets all wavy and that lets water in and it cracks. So you're going to want to use a lot of silicone all over this so no water can get in there. And as you can see, it's raining right now, and this machine sits out in the rain and no water is getting out into my hydraulics. Just make sure you're very clean about this job. You don't want anything, shut up. you don't want any dirt, water, or anything in that hydraulic system, just oil. So yeah, take the cab off and then do that like I did there with the metal, the rubber gaskets, and the new filter, new filter, new filter. You have to look in a book. I think this filter is the one of them's a smaller micron than the other two. I can't remember. I want to say this is a smaller micron, and the other two are the bigger micron. It's actually supposed to snow tonight, but we're not going to need the snowplow with this for a while. I will go in the garage here. I think I know where that rubber stuff is. I can show you what I use to make my gaskets if I can find it. So yeah, you want to make sure everything is sealed tight. You'll see the cracks in the tank when you pull the tank off. Right here. This is like, I think it's like swimming pool liner. And what we did is we cut a chunk off and put it in drain oil, and it didn't swell up or anything for like a week. It was still the same, felt the same, it was still, everything was the same about it, so that means it's not going to disintegrate the oil. So this is what we used. You go that way, you cut it, you go that way, you cut it, you put silicone in the seam where they meet. And you know, put it all the way around the tank, and then all the way around that square access plate. And use black silicone, we put that in our caulking gun. Put the silicone on the outer half edge so it doesn't squish into the hydraulic tank. And let it dry before you put oil in and start the engine. So yeah, just find yourself some rubber, something like this, rubber gasket material that will seal water out, seal oil in, and it won't disintegrate when it sits on, oil sits on it. So that's how that works. Also, there's a flame heater in the intake that if you're ever in cold weather, you're going to want to use that. I'll show you where that is. I hooked the wire up on mine. There's no glow plugs on the Perkins 4.108 diesel engine. So you see cold start, you push that button, and what it does is it's a thermal start. Right there, you have a fuel line and a wire. It energizes that wire, making a coil in there get red hot. When the coil gets red hot, it opens up a thermal valve which lets fuel in. Only when the engine's being cranked over, fuel will go through this line. It's like a return line from the engine and into that thermal start, and it throws fire down in this intake manifold to warm up the intake air to help the engine start in the cold. When it is below 40 degrees, we use the intake or the block heater because that thing just doesn't, it's too much cranking to get it to start with that. So make sure you don't put your belt too tight. You want some play in there. You can see mine has some play because if you put it too tight, your water pump belt or your water pump bearings will go out. Keep the oil change. You can see I change it very regularity. Keep the coolant full and keep hydraulic oil in it, and it should last a long time. So yeah, you got a filter right there. Filter right there, and then the filter right there, and then underneath this angle iron and then the tank, see a little bit of it right there, is that gasket stuff that I just showed you. You can see the angle iron runs all the way up, so make sure you do that so it keeps it pushed down evenly and seals. And then obviously right here and right here it was all cracked up, so that's why there's excess silicone. And then there's silicone, you can see some of the gasket stuff right there around this thing too. So take this cover off, take that cover off, replace the filter here, replace those two filters, reseal this tank because it's a fiberglass tank. Don't let any weight sit on it because it'll crack it. So do that, and then your hydraulic should be 3 to 4 times faster. It won't whine, and you won't wear out your pumps from watery fluid. Because the hydraulics really like that fast. Now they're, you know, nice and fast. It has more power, and it drives faster and quieter. So do that, and your Bobcat 825 will run better. There'll be no water in your fluid, because that is a very common problem with these apparently, is that tank cracks and you get water in your fluid. So do that and you shouldn't have any more problems. This has been like this for it's sat outside the whole summer since we did this repair, and no water's gotten into the fluid. The fluid drain is right there. Stand in front of the Bobcat and look down that direction, and you'll see the drain is right there. It's a pipe plug. You want to tip the machine. I jacked the machine up so it was tipped like that so all the water comes out. And then when you have that cover off and that cover off, you can like pour diesel fuel down in there with the machine tipped up, and the diesel fuel run out that plug, and it'll help rinse out all the water. So do that and your machine should run well. And if you have the original wiring and everything, the wiring connectors will be, or there's somewhere the wiring, and there should be a main connector right around here for it. Right here. You unplug that and then you're home free to take the cab off. So anyways, that is the tutorial on how to make your Bobcat 825 run good and last for a long time. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, comment, and rate.